All right, so another big shout out to Bowling Towing. He called me. He had another one in the area, so he backed his truck up and hooked up that thing and set it on the trailer for me. So that's one less that I got to haul. I'll get this thing took and dropped off and check with my son. We got parts for cars now. I don't know what all we got, so I'm gonna go get that, see what we got. I think in the morning we'll get a good start on this and start trying to knock out the IS300 and at least the 240 as best we can to get them, start getting them moved. So if I can get them done in the next 2 days, I'll give us 3 days to finish cleaning everything out and we should be good then. So let me get this thing hauled, see what we got at home, and I'll know more about what we got to get some cars finished. So, all right, here we go. All right, so I made sure there was oil in this thing. I put 2 quarts of gear oil in the transmission. I'm waiting on them to bring more. I put the mount on. I end up using the actual S13 mount with a cross member. It's way up tight. I'm gonna have to space the cross member, which when you go to a R154, Drift Motion makes this billet spacer, and I'm gonna get that billet spacer and drop that cross member down once I get to there, and I'll get me a measurement on my drive shaft later. But that'll give me, I'd say, a 1/2 inch drop. And so a 1/2 inch drop right there, I'll let that down enough to be happy with that. But I've just got it shoved up there through transport so the transmission doesn't hang down. I do have to put, I think, 2 more quarts of gear oil in it. And I tightened all the motor mounts, made sure there's oil in this, packed up some stuff in the car. So yeah, the 240 is ready to go. Yeah. And so now, besides those 2 quarts of oil, I'm gonna let it sit here until the Bowling Towing, if he gets a load out today, he'll come by and pick this car up and set it on this trailer for me. But until then, I'm gonna leave it there. That way, if AutoZone ends up with my oil, my gear oil first, then I will be able to put it in before I set it on the ground. And in the meantime, I'm going to start on the IS300, pulling the clutch line and tying in the hydraulic slave cylinder for the T56 and make sure we don't have any leaks in it. That's the main thing, because if you get any leaks in the internal slave cylinder, you have to pull everything. And you don't know until you put it all in and add fluid and build pressure. And same thing with the gear oil. You don't know if you have a leak until you put it all in. So I've got to get that done today. Bleed the clutch, put some gear oil in both these transmissions, and try to get them out of here. That's the goal. And if we have an issue with the IS300, we've got to pull this transmission back out and fix whatever it is and put it back in today. So that's why I'm waiting on AutoZone to bring me my gear oil, and why we have till, I talked to the owner, he come by today, so I do have till Sunday. It's cool, we talked, he's gonna give me Sunday. I told him it'd be in his interest because I'm gonna clean more in that scenario. So he's like, yeah, that's fine. He hadn't planned on doing anything before Monday anyway. And yeah, that's where we're at. So Art may show up today. If Art shows up, he'll help me do all the stuff on this. And we get all that hydraulic line hooked up, pressure test it, see if we got a leak or whatever the deal is. But minus the gear oil, the S14 is ready to go, or 13 rather. There it is. But if I do a brake master and a clutch, there's going to be, some stuff filled out, so you won't have as much room as what you think. And then once you do the turbo and manifold, and I've got to take all the old fuel lines and stuff out, run all those. We'll probably get a chase base, tucked radiator, and yeah, so that's some of the goals with this car ultimately. So think about it. You see the condition it's in. I have wiring specialties, complete harness. So that does away with all the wiring. So I need the turbo, the manifold, radiator, whatever hoses and stuff to connect all that stuff. Fuel lines, fuel pump, clean interior windshield. And this car would be running and driving. I could have this car running and driving in a few days if the interior was done. I feel like I could put, because the lines should be all inclusive. They should just plug, grounds, 12-volt wire, battery power, grounds, fluids, that kind of thing. So yeah, there's a ton of room behind this thing too. And as far forward as this transmission is, we still had to notch it. But I do have to order that from Drift Motion to space that, because that will vibrate like crazy. It's super high in the hole there. So yeah, but all right, here we go. All right, so we're under the car. Obviously we don't have a drive shaft, but up here you can see how tight everything is. But right here, there's this block, the spacer that Drift Motion sells, and it lowers this whole assembly. And this is a stock S13 mount, but we'll put that spacer both sides, and I have one on the IS300, so that'll drop that a 1/2 inch, because you can see how bulky, and this transmission actually sits lower than the car. So I don't want it any lower than it has to be, because if this scrapes, we're in trouble. I've looked at raising the entire motor up, the entire platform higher, but it won't change this lower robust piece here. So every time you scrape, it literally is gonna be the bottom of your transmission. So I may end up having to put a shield of some sort or some kind of something on there. That will drag the crap out of that thing somewhere, I'm sure of it. But yeah, that's what we got. We will have to get those spacers, drive shaft, power steering stuff. Obviously there's a lot more to do, but yeah, that was just showing you the underneath of how we got to space it and all that. If I had the Silver Ice 300 here, I could show you the space, but Drift Motion sells it. It's an aluminum block, 1/2 inch or so, and that should remedy that issue. So yeah, but all right, here we go. All right, so Bowling Toland's here. He's helped me $50, 11 times. Okay. You're on my YouTube channel. So there's Bowling Towing. So if you're local to me, this guy's helped me out tremendous. Been a big, big help. I'm having to move my truck forward. So what he'll do is pull around and set it right on this trailer for me. And he's been helping me out quite a bit. I wouldn't have made it through this mess if it wouldn't been for this guy and this guy. And Art. Thanks, Art. Thanks, Bowling Towing. Thanks, Dominic. Yeah. All right, here we go. You got your safety glasses on, sir. That boy. Yeah, that's right. Got Artemis grinding on the transmission. We had to pull it back out. So we're clearing some stuff. All right, so we're gonna have to put it back in. But what Art had to do, right inside there, it was hitting on the pressure plate.
Pressure plate, yep.
On yeah, like the ends. So yeah, I had to come back out for that reason. Everybody happy with it? Everybody agree that's all it is?
I'm happy with it.
All right, so we're going back in with it. So that's where we're at.
I'm feeling high.